Hello and welcome to Small Cap Nation. I'm Jane King at the NASDAQ market site in Times Square, and with me today Bill Carpou, the CEO of OCTANE. And just tell me about what OCTANE is and what do you do?
You know, Jane, OCTANE's a really interesting organization. We've got four components to it, and the first is a legacy portion of it that was put together in 2002, which is called OCTANE Connect, and that's what holds our conferences, our forums, our educational and thought process. The second is OCTANE Launchpad, which is our actual accelerator, where we run companies through each year, help them get capitalized and then grow. The third is relatively new. It's OCTANE Growth Services, which is a platform to help companies grow and scale once they've been funded and get up the revenue curve. And the third is OCTANE Capital, which is a separate LLC, I should say, okay, that really houses our own investment fund.
Okay, so OCTANE is an accelerator that helps somewhat established businesses get to the next level.
You know, established is probably worth interpreting.
Relative term,
yeah,
okay.
A relative term. So if someone were to come to us and say, I've got a great idea, could you help me formulate a business plan? We're going to refer them into an incubator.
Okay.
So our general sweet spot is a company that has a proof of concept, has a business plan, basically has a management team identified, but more importantly has a proof of concept. Okay. And has raised a little bit of money, maybe angel, friends and family. So the entry point is going to be a seed or A round, you know, okay, in terms of venture investing. So
a company A comes to you and they have all those qualifications, then what do you do for them?
So what we do is we have about 350 to 400 of those companies each year that reach out to us. So our first aspect is really to decide, do they fit in technology and medical technology?
Okay, so those are the two industries you're in, tech and med tech.
Absolutely,
okay,
which are somewhat broad, but still, it's a refined market that we're focused to. So once we make that determination, we ask them for a copy of their investor deck, as well as their business plan. We evaluate that ourselves, and then if they pass that vetting mechanism, we then call them in for it could be a conference, a video conference, but generally we like to bring them into our office. We meet with the management team, and then our final decision is whether we send them to panel. And that's really the finality of where you want to reach inside of our accelerator. So with 350 to 400 companies applying or inquiring each year, we run only about 40 through. Okay. So we believe we represent very, very high quality deal flow.
Okay, and you said about 86% do receive funding?
Yeah, 86% receive funding within 15 months.
Okay.
So you know that's a relatively unheard of percentage, mm-hmm, you know, in that end of the market, which represents the quality deal flow. And you know, we've ended up building credibility with investors that will look at deals that come through.
But you vet them and make sure, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of it is things that they would probably do, investors would do themselves, at least institutional investors, mm-hmm, but we're pre-vetting. So you know, we're giving them speed to be able to make a decision as to whether it fits their portfolio.
So are they mainly institutional investors that fund these companies, or?
It's you know, another changing component within OCTANE. So if you look at historically since 2010, the companies that have come through our accelerator, there's just under 240 of them have raised $1.4 billion. Almost all of that has been institutional funding. As the dynamics have changed over the past year, we're looking at that and saying we want a greater access to capital strategy. Mm-hmm. So we're reaching out now to family offices, mm-hmm, to strategic venture. We started a fund of our own, mm-hmm, and we've really expanded the geography of our venture investors to include New York and Boston to invest in the companies in Southern California.
So these are Southern California companies, but they can receive funding from all over the United States?
Correct, okay, and globally.
Okay.
You know, we're even starting to see investors coming in from China and from certain parts of the Middle East that are interested in high-tech companies and being on the front end of them.
Now, OCTANE Growth Services, that's something new, right? What is that?
Yes. So about mid-year last year, 2016, we determined that companies were coming through our accelerator, but maybe not growing quite as fast as they could. So they were looking for help on that. Some maybe, you know, we're maybe looking at more intuitive ecosystems, such as the Bay Area. And so initially, it was put in place to be more defensive and retain companies in Southern California. But as we started to go through that process, we found that it was an acceleration. So it really helps companies grow, get up the revenue curve, and reach EBITDA faster.
Well, and I think a lot of tech companies are getting priced out of the Bay Area and are looking at places like Southern California.
You're exactly right, and for many Southern Californians, they can't believe when they hear this, but it's a bargain.
Yeah.
Housing's a bargain, traffic's a bargain. Frankly, wages are a bargain when you compare them with the Bay Area, and really with many other ecosystems too. New York and Boston are not inexpensive areas to live.
Yes, believe me, I know all too well. So you've got an event coming up. So you want to tell me about when that is, where it is, how can people find out more, what's it about?
Yeah, so two of the things that we do each year is we have a large technology innovation forum, and this year it's going to be June 1st and 2nd. It'll be held in Newport Beach at the Newport Beach Marriott Resort on Fashion Island. It'll be a 2-day event, and our events are about 800 people, so they're not huge. They're intimate. There's a lot of thought leadership, and we've got organizations such as Intel, AT&T, GE, that are all going to be representing OCTANE in that. Microsemi is our title sponsor this year, as they have been for the past couple of years. So it's not just organizations that are local in Southern California, but those that are global. And it'll be a 1.5-day event.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Bill Carpou, for sharing the story of OCTANE with us and helping small companies, which I love. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me, Jane. I appreciate it.
And thank you as well for joining us. I'm Jane King at the NASDAQ Market Site. And for more information about smaller companies and investment funds, you can go to smallcapnation.com.